It's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood, and today there's a feature I'd like to discuss in these cars. So let's start the car. Actually, I'm going to start it with the door open. Okay. This is an Infiniti M56, and boy, it sounds good. The V8 sounds really good. So right now you can barely hear it. In addition to it being a 5.6 liter V8, I also have Infiniti sport mufflers, so it sounds pretty good, you know. Right now the tone went down because it should be getting out of open loop, going to closed loop pretty soon. And there's a feature that I'd like to discuss. It's called active noise cancellation. I need to open these side mirrors first. Okay, I'm about to back it up into the garage. This is the first time any of my cars are going to be in here, by the way. I just finally got ready, got done with it. So it's a pretty joyful occasion. Cutting close. We're fine. Okay, wow, sunlight is right in our faces. So I'm gonna turn it off again. Okay. Start the car. Okay, can you hear the exhaust booming back into the car? So active noise cancellation is a system that uses microphones, and you have a microphone. This one here is a microphone for the phone, right, and voice commands. This one right here is the active noise cancellation microphone. You have another one back there. That one right there. That is out of the microphone, the rear microphone. So the ANC system basically does this. Its aim, and its advertised aim, is to offset booming noises from the exhaust. So right now I'm like halfway in and out of the garage because typically in my active noise cancellation equipped vehicles, like the 2008 M45, the 2003 M45 also had it. Whenever I found myself in a situation where I was halfway outside the garage, you would get this hissing noise back at you because the ANC system was reacting. And this is what it does. The microphones listen out to booming noises from your engine. It's actually not from the exhaust, it's actually from the engine. They listen out to booming noises from the engine, and then say let's draw a line right here, right? So your engine noises are in a wave like this. What the ANC system does, let's say you have, well, let's call it a big wave like this, right? Starts here, completes here. What the ANC system does is creates an out of phase wave, right? You have the microphones and you have an active noise cancellation module. That module basically creates a sound, not a negative, well, it produces an anti-phase sound which ends up acting like a negative sound. So as I said, the engine was producing a wave like this, and then this other one is going to present a wave that starts here, coming down here, up here, and here. So basically at the end of the day, when you add up the area on top of the x-axis, you end up with a 0, right? So that inside here, the sound that you hear is mute. That's why it helps. Like, this is a pretty aggressive car, but the road noise is pretty good, well behaved. And what the ANC system does, it uses the door speakers. So down there, that front door, rear door, those 4 speakers are the ones that come back in and give you the cancellation noise or noise cancellation. However, I guess it works both ways. And I was trying to raise, because it's supposed to be related to the engine. I don't know if this camera is going to pick up what it sounds like in here. Okay, so just watch this and then open the door. The reason I'm opening the door is that the active noise cancellation system actually does not work with a door open, right? But it's difficult to capture this. You have to be really, really well attuned to it. That when you open the door, the system cancels out. It's not a matter of, and that's why I was trying to open the window, because this sound right here is different than this sound right here because of me opening the door. And what I usually do, well, so there's a warning system, right? I just trick the door, trick it to be closed like that, right? So trick it closed by pushing it. The door's still open physically. Trick it closed. And I can hear the sound in here get a little different. Well, thing is, especially with the 5.6, the 5.6 is a little louder, so you can hear the active noise cancellation coming in a little more actively. You can be like, wow, there is something different about this car. The 4.5 engines, rarely could you hear anything, just because they were really smooth. So as I said, it's against booming noises, and booming noises can be a little hard to explain, especially coming from the engine, right? So maybe sometimes it does look for the exhaust, right? Maybe. Anyway, this video might not sound complete yet, so I'll leave it right here, and maybe later, once you hear the second part of this video, because I can get it to trip out, it will make a little more difference. And again, my apologies, I'm facing east, so the sun is right in my face. And but yeah, we shall talk later. Yo, so it's at the end of the day, just leaving work now, and I wanted to tell you that earlier I told you how the active noise canceling system is supposed to work, and we had the sun in our face and all that. This time it's a little different. The sun's behind us. I'm facing east now, so it's west behind me, and the sun is behind me at the end of the day. And sometimes the ANC system works too well for its own good. So let's see what happens. Let's just start the car. You might think that you're hearing a buzzing noise, and you would be right. There is a buzzing noise in here. Well, let's turn everything else off. You hear that? How do I know it's a ANC system? Well, for one, if I play with the microphone, well, it's right at 1000 RPM or so. It's about to happen. Watch this. Doing that kind of trips it out. I guess today it's not. Yeah, it has to be right at 1000 RPM, so I'll put it in gear and give it a little bit of gas. You hear that? As I said, kind of sort of works, then it just comes back. I'm going for 1000 RPM. I've exceeded it. It has. Right now I might be having some trouble attaining that, but when you're driving, it knows how to find it and irritate the heck out of you. So there's that. Let's get it to RPM again. And the other way I know it is because of this. As soon as I open the door, it stops. As soon as I shut it, buzzing comes back. So it is the active noise canceling system acting up, and I, have some theories, but hear me out. First thing, as I said, the microphone it's already in closed loop now. And I think touching the rear one also had the same effect. Let me lean back. Thankfully it's not in gear, so if I do something silly. There you go. Reaching back there. You can hear the weird vibration, right? And as I said, it uses the door speakers to create that out of phase noise. It uses the door speakers to create the anti-noise, so to say. So my thoughts on this: one, you could go back there and disconnect. I think most people who have issues with it usually disconnect the rear microphone. I would also consider disconnecting this one here, because, well, this one is closer to the engine and the system is supposed to cancel engine booming noises, right? Engine. However, this is what has happened. I've done this test a few times, and I've parked my car facing the sun and I've parked it facing away from the sun, but predictably or consistently, it happens whenever the rear, my tail is facing the sun, so that I can repeat this experiment in the morning. If I parked with my tail facing east in the morning, as the sun comes up, the car would do that. In the evening, I've done it both ways, east, west, north, south, but whenever I park it with my tail towards the sun, that's when that happens. My theory is that, it's being affected by the exhaust. As much as it's supposed to be for engine booming sounds, it does get affected with the exhaust. This car here, I've had it for a while, and I almost exclusively used to drive it in the summer. Barely saw winter for, forever. And it didn't have any problems. However, the only change that I've done this year is that I installed Infiniti Sport mufflers. So it's got aftermarket, aftermarket dealer option aftermarket mufflers. And my theory is this: for those of you guys who play music, especially wind instruments, I'm not saying that your exhaust system is a musical instrument. However, the temperature affects sound, right? So I can't remember if for music instruments you used to chill them or used to leave them in a room for them to get to room temperature. I can't remember. But all I know is that at a certain temperature, music instruments sound different. So that's my theory. The sun hits the sport mufflers in a way that makes them, their resonance or their tone or whatever it is, a pitch, whatever. There's some sound, a property of sound that gets affected, and it ends up messing with the car. Am I gonna fix it? Okay, so it's a little bit of a nuisance, right? Check me driving off. Just listen out. It's very subtle, right? It can get irritating, I guess, if you're creeping up in parking lots or something like that. For taking off in traffic, it's not too bad. I've been in a situation where, what happened that day? It was hot all the way, but I drove on the highway for a pretty long time, and I suppose everything just warmed up the right way, which is kind of interesting. You'd think like, hey, okay, so because everything else in the car is like, is it mild steel? And the sport mufflers are stainless steel. The sport mufflers are stainless steel. There's maybe a little bit of incompatibility, but why? I mean, it's a factory option. You'd think that they would figure this out. So I haven't fully gone to the depths to figure to disprove or disprove my theory. But if the sport mufflers are what is causing problems, or what are causing problems or causing this feedback, then that's going to be a failure on Infiniti's part. You know, when you sell something, you know, for goodness sake, just make sure it works all the way through. And I know I mentioned this, the active noise canceling system in this car is way more aggressive than other cars, but the engine does sound way different as well. So, am I going to do anything about it? I doubt it. I don't think I will. Okay, so I'm getting up to a stop again. As I said, it's not something that really irritates me, and I love my stuff working properly, so I'm not one to go cutting wires in my car. That's just not my style. Okay. Heard a little bit of a buzz. There you go. That's when you hear it, and I'm about to get on the highway. As I said, it's just a 1000 RPM thing. No other time, really. You know? And as long as you're out of 1000 RPM, you'll almost never hear it. Man, people say that this thing is a dog in hot weather, but picks up. And I guess that's one thing. That's the advantage of proper maintenance, you know. Car will treat you nicely if you treat it fairly. So, hey, this one's pretty good. It goes. Okay, well, that's about it. That's my vlog for the day. Just wanted to talk about the active noise canceling system and what happens when these systems don't work out correctly. Okay, that's all I have for now. Catch you guys later. So, is it irritating? I don't know. You tell me. Here, I've been driving for about 20 minutes so far, give or take. I'm about to park. You hear it? Still got a little bit of a buzz. 1000 RPM kind of buzz going on, so if you cranked up your music loud enough, it really wouldn't bother you, but you still don't have to go too crazy for, you know, for that, really. Still. All right, home sweet home. But wait, there's more. So today is 2 days later. Yesterday was rather cloudy and I wasn't able to do this. But today I'm facing the sun at the end of the day after work, such that my nose is just like that morning, right? And then my tail end is in the east, away from the sun. And the temperature outside, according to the car, is 84. So kind of toasty. It's pretty warm. The wind kind of helps. And you've noticed there's no buzzing at all. So it goes with my theory, the theory that I told you, that pretty much the reason that I get that buzzing at 1000 RPM is, or has to be, due to the fact that not at all. No buzzing by any means. So, yeah, once again, I'm going to say this. If you make a factory option sport muffler, please do your research and do your testing. Make sure it doesn't, you know, do your testing in all environments, all temperatures, climates, blah, blah, blah. Just make sure that it doesn't cause an undesirable effect. For me, am I going to do anything about this? Am I going to go and disconnect the wires to the microphones? No, not really. For one, this car doesn't really get driven that often. And two, I intend to do further exhaust modifications. So I'd like to see how it all ends up sounding at the very end. So for now, I think I'm going to put the camera away, and I think I've recorded enough footage to show how
the active noise cancellation is supposed to work and how wonderful of a system it is when it's working, and also what happens when things don't work as they're supposed to. So let's open this door. It's kind of windy. Let's see if this is going to help. Okay. Shut the door by pushing the button. Yeah, I don't know if you can really tell it, but yeah, kind of killed the wind noise a little bit. So I don't know how wind noise and it gets confused or ends up overlapping with regards to booming noises from the engine, but hey, it is what it is. The car's working and makes for a quiet ride in here, so that's all I gotta say. And I better go get some gas now.